Right, we are starting number 2, SketchUp demo, Saturday, media practices, part 2. All right, so we had a couple questions regarding versions of SketchUp after the break, or before the break, at the end of class. Just to reiterate, all these extra icons and stuff that I have up on my screen are extensions that I added to my version of SketchUp. They are not like natively built into your SketchUp version. I acquired them by going to the extension warehouse and searching for the things that I needed and downloading them and installed them via the extension manager, which you are more than welcome to do if you have any sort of like question about, okay, what do I need to do this, or if there's a certain function that you're having trouble with. There's all sorts of drawing extensions, drawing tools, like if you really want to draw some curves or terrain or fractal generation, things like that. There's all sorts of plugins that can accommodate your needs. Today, for this little thing here, we're going to start by... oh, look, there's a radial engine up there. How about that? We are going to make some terrain, do some editing on it, and then plant a tree on it. So I am looking... What? Nothing. I thought I heard you say something. So we're going to look for some terrain. I'm going to go into the 3D warehouse and just sort of look around and try and find a bit of terrain that looks like it might have some interesting variations for how we want to use it. So this one looks good. And I don't have to click on it. I can click on this arrow with the little thing, and that will directly load it into my SketchUp model. And I'm going to place it. I don't know where it is, so I'm going to zoom out. Oh, there's my terrain. And all my notes. Looks like an architectural model. Fantastic. So there's some things here that I don't want. For example, I don't need my person. Pew! Select delete. I'm going to move this to the corner of the axis so I have a 0, 0, 0 starting point. And then I'm going to double click this. And I actually don't want all this text. So I'm going to double click on this group, just click that text and delete it. Now when I look at this, it actually has some axes that I don't want, or there's something in here that's making this group look bigger than it actually is. So let's see if there's a few different groups within here. So the water's a group, and that land is a group, and that land is a group, and apparently that's a group. So everything on here, all these lines, well, let's see. The lines are a group. I could get rid of those. Do you want them or not?
It won't. You won't see edges.
Oh, right. And they're not actually part of the object, so I don't mind that I'm deleting these contours. So I'm just going to select that line to delete. You don't have to use this model. You can use whatever like terrain model you want. I'm just using this as an example. Also, do you want these in parts? Like, do you want...
It doesn't matter.
Because we don't want that. Oh.
I mean, if there's multiple groups, like it'll parent them to each other.
I mean, could I group them into a single thing and then not make a difference?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it'll still if there's individual groups within that group, though, like those will be accessible.
Okay. All right. Well, let's keep it like this. So this is our terrain. I want to maybe modify it a little bit. I'm going to select my bounding edges. Holy buckets, there's a lot of triangles there. That's kind of what I want. So I want to see where all my shapes are. So I'm going to soften the edges, or not soften. I'm going to drop the angle between normals. Oh, I can't do that because this is 2 objects. So I actually have to explode this into 2 objects if I really want to edit it. So there we go. There's our terrain and there's our water. select our terrain. It's a single object, no nesting. Go to soften edges, and yeah, there we go. Drop it all down, and there we go. There's our terrain, and even with the water, since it's a single surface, well, no triangles there. It's just one single face, which is fine. So in here, maybe what I want to do is edit some of these objects. So let's grow a tree, shall we? Does it have to be different, or can it be? Never mind. I'll just, here's what we'll do. I'm going to select this square. I'm going to create it, a group out of it. I've just selected that single face, so then I go in here and I can start extracting and building a simple tree. All right, so I'm going to use my extrude tool, my pull tool, using P. Pull that up. There we go. There's our tree trunk. Maybe I want this to be rounded, so I could do one of two things. I could actually, like, where's my Alt key? Whoops. I could round the edges. Nope, that's not what I want to do. I want to select these faces, and I can select all four of those faces really easily by just going to the side and drag selecting, and then that will give me a selection of just those four faces without the top and bottom face. Oh, actually, you know what? You guys don't have that plugin, so I can't do that. So I'll go to my arc tool instead. I hit the A, and then I am just going to click on 2 points on here. You'll notice that if it's not a symmetrical curve or arc, it'll be blue, and then as soon as it hits the proper tangent, which is symmetrical, it'll snap to it and go purple. So I'm going to do that, and on face, I want purple on face. There we go. And once I do that, I can de-extrude that and push down all the way to the bottom. Alternatively, if I wanted to make a tree trunk, I could put my circle tool on this square. Snap to an axis? No, okay. And just extrude that. Maybe I want to shape it a little more so I can scale, whoops, sorry. I can scale just that plane, just that sphere on the top, and truncate it a little bit more. Now I need to make some branches, so I'm going to put a few more circles in. Oh, it won't let me do that. Okay, well.
Pine tree, that's fine too.
You want a pine tree?
If you want, it would be easier.
Yeah, probably would. Okay. All right, so we'll make a pine tree. I'm going to make another cone. And I'm going to make that smaller. And that's smaller. And that's smaller. And then maybe I'll move that up a bit more. It'll give me my blue axis. There we go. Okay, select all. Looks like a mushroom. Okay.
Yeah, or mushroom.
Giant mushroom. Sweet. Intersect faces with selection. That doesn't really matter. But in this case, maybe... What's in there? Oh, look at that. All sorts of stuff I don't want. Whoops. There we go. I'll make that smaller. Whoa. Not what I wanted to do. Crimey. Okay. So I just basically want to make this a solid object. Surface borders, that means that something is wonky. So if I select all and unselect the tree, I can actually, using the Command E key, I can hide everything but my object. And now I can double click and close my object, delete these surfaces because maybe they're unnecessary. All right, don't need delete that. All right, and now when I, there we go. Now this, I actually want to put my object back. So I'm not dealing with a hole. All right. Select all, ungroup, and group. All right, so I had to make my water and land. Oh, I am all nested now. So that's 2 groups. I'm going to explode that right now. So I have 3 groups: terrain, water, tree. And I know that this is got some reverse faces, fine. I'm going to do another quick little thing to kind of like make this kind of a funkier tree. So over here, I'm just going to make a sphere. And is that big enough? Yeah, I'll make that a little bigger. There's something kind of fun about some of these plugins. Is that, what's that? Is that clarinet? What's that? Is that there is this sort of paste along a path function. So I could take a single object and sort of install iterations in my file. Iterations, like actually, and get rid of that. And maybe I want to move that up a little bit. So you'll see in a second here why I'm doing this shape. So essentially, this is like a negative shape that I want to remove from my tree. I have to make sure that there's a trunk there. Pull all the way down. Oop. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna erase or hide those. Intersect faces. Now I gotta look all the way down and delete all those faces. And then I'll make that. You know what? This would have been easier if I did it like this. Bear with me. I'm just going to make a tree trunk, move it over, move it over. Now I can make it really tall. And then to make a hole here, what I can do here, get rid of that, make that one group. Whoops. So I know that group's good and that group's good. So I can actually subtract. So with this tool, 1, 2. And, oh wait, wrong one. I think it's this tool, yep. So with this tool, it's an extension. I'm going to delete this from this. And it should give me other way around. I'm going to delete this from this. Except that also is not going to, well, actually, yeah, that's it. All right, great. I've got an object that I want to make my tree branches with. That's all I'm doing is just trying to make tree branches on a pine tree. You could also just like go to the SketchUp warehouse and download a tree, but it's not as fun. Yay, okay. Maybe I need to make that a little smaller. So it gets all those branches. All right, so we're gonna assume that that's close enough. And then I want to delete this from this. Oh, is it gonna let me? Okay, I'm gonna delete this from this. No? Oh, come on. Everything's shiny. Should be, right? Maybe that's why? Anything weird in there? No? Okay. Hold up. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Just want to get it aligned just right. All right, close enough. Let's see if that'll work. This from that. Yes, okay. And it didn't work because I had that extra line on the base. When I closed that face at the base of the trunk, it created. Whoop! It is too solid. Come on. Aw. So what happened? Whoa. Okay. That is weird. Okay. This is the trim solid groups. Trim. There, let's try that one. And go, 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 go. Nope, that's it. You know what? That's our tree. I'm just going to leave it like that. Almost. Sorry. There. Okay, that's our tree. I'm going to paint all this. Wood, landscaping, vegetation. Here we go. Let's see what we got. All right. There's our stupid tree. Does that work for you?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so maybe I want to mess with the landscape a little more. So I'm just going to grab a handful of triangles and just start messing around with the scale tool. And create some funkiness. Because I can. And let's do some twisting there. Whoa, didn't want to do that. Okay. You know what? There we go, let's do that. All right. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Cool. All right. So now here's my model. This is our environment that we're gonna move into SketchUp. You know what? I'm not satisfied with that tree. So I just want to stretch it out just a little bit more. Cool. All right. Yeah, there we go. Space tree, or Jetsons tree. You'll notice that when you modify things, scale them, it wants to snap that scale to a reference point. Like if I snap it, like it'll go to that endpoint in that group on the mountain back there or back there, or even just like down here, which is not necessarily what I want. So I'm just going to hover my cursor like in the background field a little bit to get what I want. So, okay, so now getting ready to export into Unity. What I'm going to do is select everything. So I've got 3 groups. I've got tree, well, 4 groups rather. Tree, trunk, water, and terrain. I'm going to make all of them a single group, so I'm going to select all and hit Command G, and that'll make them one group. Done. Now is the fun part that we have to lead us into the next section of today. So going to File, Export 3D Model. Now it's going to give you a number of formats. I'll just go to the desktop on mine. Then I'll need a thumb drive to transfer it over. You have one? Is it plugged in? Okay. I'm going to call it Ketchup. So I'm going to name it. And there are a number of different formats that I can export as. If I export as an STL, again, it's not a closed mesh. It's not watertight, so it's not going to be really printable. The tree would be, but all the other, like terrain and water information, is going to be bunk. So I could do obj, grazie. An obj file is going to retain this information, but if I want it to retain the color information, it's going to output as the obj, which is the mesh data, and then an MTL file, which is the materials file. And I think Unity will be able to import it, but it's a little clunky, so I want to do it as like a single contained file with all the information. And I know DEA works. DAE. So that's our Collada file. That's kind of a SketchUp native file. Go to my options. So what do I want to do? I want to triangulate all faces. Do I want to triangulate all faces?
That's fine.
Export 2-sided faces. No, I do not want to do that. No edges. I don't want to export the hidden geometry, preserve their hierarchies, and export texture maps. So I'm going to hit OK. That's everything, and export. And then in a matter of seconds, bam, it's exported. And now I'll go to Cossack. Oh, check it out. There's my DAE file. That's pretty cool that like Preview can read that, right? And remember what we were saying about 2-sided faces, like reverse faces go kind of invisible. This is looking from the upside or from the bottom up of the environment. Like we can see that that's there, but then we go here and it's gone. We only see the plane of the water. Yeah, and that's in Preview. I'm just looking at that in Preview, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to drag that DAE file right into Christopher's thumb drive, which he will now use to show you how to import into Unity. And that concludes this session of SketchUp with Nick.